Welcome back to our podcast video. Today, we are looking at some of the replies and some of the messages that we got from some of the politicians who could not make the interview. So we had two as well. We had two politicians who were not able to make the interview. Jill Hennessy and Greg Hunt, as both of them were very busy. But luckily, they've given us some written responses for us to look at, and for this, we'll all have our own critiques of the responses. We'll get started. So we'll just read the information that we got from Greg Hunt first, and then if anyone has any, we'll go around. Then I'll go to Tobias, George, and then myself to see if you have any critiques of what he said. So we'll get.
Yeah.
So I'll read this information out to you guys as well, so you guys can hear the information. Australia has entered into 4 separate agreements for the supply of COVID-19 vaccines. If they are provided to be safe and effective, the Australian government has invested more than 3.3 billion through these 4 agreements, which will strengthen Australia's position to access safe and effective vaccines when they become available. Our 4 vaccine agreements are the Pfizer vaccine, 10 million doses, the University of Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, 53.8 million doses, the Novavax vaccine, 51 million doses, the COVAX facility agreement, 25 million doses. Australia's medicines regulator is called the Third Party Goods Administration, the TGA or TGA. The TGA is currently assessing the data on the Pfizer vaccine. Actually, this was taken a few weeks ago. So, as probably all of you guys have known, the Pfizer vaccine has now been approved by the TGA. So it's now ready to be administered in hospitals for people. George, Tobias, you knew that? Yeah?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. They expected to finish their assessment and approve the Pfizer vaccine at the end of January, so which is technically now. Once this occurs, the Pfizer vaccine will then be transported from the US and batch tested here in Australia by the TGA. The TGA will then make its final decision on the safety and efficiency of the Pfizer vaccine. This is expected to occur in mid to late February, but it's already occurred now. Once this occurs, priority groups including frontline healthcare workers, quarantine and border workers, aged care and disability residents, and workers will be able to receive the vaccine. The TGA is assessing data on the AstraZeneca vaccine. This vaccine is expected to be approved by the end of March. It will be manufactured in Melbourne, Australia, and made available for older, low-risk Australians and then all low-risk Australians. While the Pfizer vaccine will slowly be administered in 30 to 50 Pfizer hubs around Australia, the AstraZeneca vaccine will be administered by GP respiration clinics, general practices, and state and federal vaccine clinics, Aboriginal controlled health organisation clinics, and pharmacy settings. Both will be administered only when they are proven safe and effective. As well, this is a national advertising campaign will be produced by the Commonwealth Government in partnership with the states and territories. The campaign will educate all Australians on the rigor of Australian approval processes and encourage uptake of the vaccine when the time comes. The vaccine will be voluntary, but Australia is a vaccine nation. Childhood vaccinations were at record levels in 2020. So the government is confident most Australians will take the vaccine. All vaccines will be given in 2 doses. The second dose will be administered about a month after the first. Young Australians have done a brilliant job in helping it to limit the spread of COVID-19. Australians leaders of tomorrow overcame so much in 2020, and now in 2021, there is a real sense of hope that the greater opportunities lie ahead. So this is what Greg Hunt sent us, as he could not come on the interview, as he's a very busy person, so he's doing all these interviews and really helping us with the vaccine bullet. So Tobias, do you have anything really to say with what he said here, with what Greg Hunt said with his statement that he gave us?
Not really, because he's saying like what's right, I guess.
So George, do you have anything to say for this as well?
Not much. He made some good points. So yeah.
Yes, it's actually really interesting to see that how many vaccines that we do have agreements with here as well, and and he's explained really how the Pfizer and the AstraZeneca vaccine will be administered and how it's going to go through the process within the TGA, which is really, really good for people, for the listeners of this podcast, so that they know the process and they can trust the process that the government is taking for us to have safe vaccines. So yeah, that's really good. So we'll get on to the next we'll go on to the next email that was sent. So it was from Jill Hennessy. Tobias, I believe you have this email. So if you would like to share it with us, that would be great.
Yes, let me actually share it to the screen.
Did she like respond to the questions, Tobias, or like did she
Yeah.
just give like a statement? Oh, okay, that's good.
She gave like a whole couple pages.
Couple pages, bruh.
It's 2 pages. It's 2 pages, by the way.
Okay.
So this is
So
about.
Tobias, would you like to read it, or would you like George to read it, or would you like me to read it?
I don't really care. It's up to you. This is.
So yeah, this
It's
is
very
only.
long. It's very long. And the bottom's about
George,
like.
do you think, George, you want to read it so that Tobias can because Tobias,
There's further
I feel like he's
background and. Oh.
So George would like to read it?
There's further background. By the
I'll
way.
read some of it, I guess. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll read some. Tobias read some, and George read
Yeah.
some. So George, can you read
Yeah.
like the first two?
So yeah.
And
Okay.
then yeah.
So the question and
So
the
I'll
answer.
just a disclaimer. So we sent 6 questions to most politicians,
Yeah.
and
6.
Joe Hennessy has replied to all 6 of them. So we will just see.
Yeah. What she has to say.
Okay, so
Okay, so George, would you like to go with the first?
yeah, so the first question was that has anybody contacted you from the alternate electorate and said they have been suffering from mental health issues from lockdown and the virus? So her answer was mental health sadly came up as an issue people were concerned about. When responding to general issues relating to COVID-19, my staff will include information about support services that the Victorian government offers. In particular, the Department of Health and Human Services provides a wide variety of mental health resources for all kinds of members of the community, including children and young people and carers. These resources can be accessed with the following link.
You want an interview or what?
Oh yes, yeah. So with this statement, do you guys have anything to say with it, or
Not
any
really.
critiques?
No, not really.
George, have any critiques or anything?
No, no, it's pretty good.
For me, really, it's pretty good. She's really explained here, like the process that they have, for them to, for people who have contacted them if they have mental health issues, and yeah, it's a pretty good statement just for the process, but she didn't really answer the question. She took it a little bit further, but she didn't really answer the question that we did ask, but
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
That's really the only critique I really have. But yeah, we'll get on to the next question as well. George, would you like to read this one as well?
Yeah, okay. So the second question was, what type of mental health issues have people been contacting you about? So her answer was, I've spoken to people about the additional stress that the pandemic has brought to their lives. I had a meeting with some local people who work in banks who told me about the mental stress of working as a frontline worker whilst knowing that the virus was out there in the community. Many COVID-19 queries related to seeking financial assistance, either personally or for businesses. We ensured that responses to these requests were prioritized. We know that dealing with financial pressure can have a huge impact on mental health.
So yeah, so Tobias, George, any critiques of the question? Yeah.
Not really, because it kind of makes sense what it's like. Yeah, it makes sense that people would have stress and all that because during this time, especially because of stress and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. George, do you have any critiques or anything?
Not really, because she did explain it really well, and yeah, it's like money is something that's really hard to get during this pandemic time. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, there's not much either. She did identify really just one, which is like really additional stress, really. So
Yeah.
she identified one of them, and then she added on with like the financial assistance to just like deal with them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a pretty well answered question. So yeah, Tobias, would you like to read the next two, and then I'll read the last two?
Sure. Uh, what ways did you advise people to cope with mental health during a lockdown? We referred to a range of resources that could assist during lockdown. These included general mental health information that was provided by the Department of Health and Human Services. My office also always work uh, to provide a friendly, caring, and kind ear to callers. My staff especially re- reached out to people who might have been lonely or isolated during the lockdown to have a chat and give them the time of day. Some of these discussions really helped people feel, feel uh, connected and supported.
So yeah, any of you guys have any critiques about George Tobias? Any critiques?
Not really, because it's answering the question like how we asked.
Yeah, George.
Yeah, pretty much what Tobias said. She answered the question well, and yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like with these questions, they're not really very much political. They're more mental health. So you can't really you can't really get a political bias onto one side or the other side with these
Mm.
questions. So yeah, just
Yeah, because
yeah,
yeah,
because it's really the same, all the same thing. So yeah,
yeah,
she did explain good ways that her office was pretty friendly, caring, and kind
yeah,
to the callers, um and then they reached out to people who would be probably lonely during to the lockdown. So yeah, that was a really good answer as well. So we'll get on to the next question as well.
yeah. Okay, this one's okay, miss. If you had a mental health issue during lockdown, what would you do during that time? I think I think that one of the best things we could do for mental health is talk to our loved ones and be open and honest about how we are feeling. Uh, I would also encourage anyone scrug, uh, struggling with their mental health to seek m- medical uh, support either from your GP or by contacting a organization such as uh, uh, Headspace. For me, like many others, last year was tough and it really promoted me to think about my life, family, and things that are most important to me. I made the decision at the end of 2020 to step back from my role of as Victorian. I, I, I don't know what that that second word is, but
Attorney General.
yeah, Attorney General to instead focus more of my time on my life and commitment as a member for the Alternate District. This decision was hard, but it was this it was a decision I made to find some balance in my life. I hope that others in our community can take the opportunity in 2021 to relax, take stock, and spend time with other people they love.
So yeah, guys, do you have any critiques or anything to say about what Jill Hennessy said in this little
Uh,
and how she answered this question?
Not really. I don't know. Like, yeah.
Do you have anything to say though, Tobias, on the
No,
question?
not really.
You can't tell.
Yeah. So yeah, George, you have anything to say?
I think it was pretty good that she said that she told us some examples that we can take if anyone's like having mental health issues, like from your GP or from like an organization like Headspace.
Yeah, I think as well that's good as well. For me, the thing that really was really good about this one as well is that she talked about her own personal experience with last year with her stepping back from the attorney general. Because if you don't know what attorney general is, it's really it's really the member of government who is really in charge of like creating new laws and stuff and passing it through the government. So really, to be attorney general, you have to be like a lawyer. So that's one of the higher ranking roles within government. So yeah, I like how she showed her own personal experience with how she had to step back from attorney general and spend more time with her family and make more commitments to her alternate district. So yeah. So
Yep.
we'll go on to the next we'll go on to the next question as well. So
All right.
yeah.
It's only one more, and then we have some.
Yeah, and I'll read both of them. Is
Uh,
this question is staying at home the main cause for most of mental health issues currently? Staying at home and limiting physical interaction has been vital to slowing the spread of COVID-19, but it absolutely can be difficult for people's mental health and well-being, particularly for those already experiencing mental health conditions. So any of you guys want to and any of you guys want to critique what she said or anything like that?
Not really. It was like kind of straight to the point.
Yeah.
yeah.
Tobias?
Like it's just answering the question like as we
Yeah.
asked. Yeah. The further
Yeah. I feel
background
like
information. Yeah.
yeah.
Just.
I feel like she could have added a little maybe a little bit more info, but that was pretty good as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get on to the last one further background. So we didn't ask her to do this, and
Yeah.
so she was just telling us a bit more information about it. So further background, mental health is an issue that is very important to me and my colleagues in the Victorian government. Irrespective of the impacts of COVID-19 on mental health, we want to ensure that all Victorians can access the mental health support they need. That is why in the Victorian budget 2020 to 2021, we will include $868.6 million in mental health investment, including funding for the rollout of interim recommendations from the Royal Commission into mental health. Other key mental health investments by the state government include 20 million towards upgrading state-owned mental health facilities across Victoria, 47.8 million dedicated to early intervention support for young people, as well as 7 billion to support research into youth mental health, 19.4 million dollars to support mental health clinics at Victorian Flex Threat Assessment Centre, $4.4 million to improve culturally appropriate support for Aboriginal Victorians, $3.9 million for providing mental health and well-being support for asylum seekers, and $152 million to support and provide mental health services in direct response to COVID-19. So, you guys have anything to really say about that, or?
Not really, because I guess it's talking about uh uh the goal for next year, I guess, slash last year, like because I guess that might be what they might be doing this year, maybe.
And George, you have anything to say?
Yeah, I think it was a good. She mentioned some facts like there's like $868.6 million for mental health and like some of like the mental health investments by state government. So yeah.
Yeah, I also like this as well because she gave a clear outlined a direction of how the state government has place money into mental health areas. We actually really need it now with many people suffering from mental health issues because of the COVID-19 pandemic and lockdown and all of that. So yeah, I think this is a really good answer. As we didn't even ask her to do this as well, she just gave us further information.
Yeah, it's like a bonus
Yeah.
part, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So those are all the questions that we have. Also, I'd like to add on the 3rd of February, we will be having a live stream interview with Luke Howarth, who is the Assistant Minister for Youth in federal government. So we'll be having a live stream interview at 5:30 p.m. on the 3rd of the 2nd. So on Wednesday.
So if you want to
if
tune
you
in, I
guys,
guess.
yeah, if you guys want to tune in and listen to the interview, you can come. We might, if you guys have any questions or anything, you can just put it in the chat, and we might get into those. We might we might ask those questions to Luke, and he might give you an answer or two. But please keep it PG. Please keep it PG. We don't want any gruesome stuff. That's not what's needed. That's not what's needed.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
so that's the end of this
Yeah.
video. So this video was just about showing you guys the other responses that we got, written responses.
Yes,
So,
yes, the written ones. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and please make
Yep.
sure to like and subscribe to the channel and help the channel grow so that we get more people towards this
Yeah.
YouTube channel we've started. So yeah, thanks guys for watching, and yeah, I hope you have a great day.
See you guys.
Yep. Yeah.